Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing this $30 lens. Let's start with the build quality of this lens. This lens feels pretty weighty actually, like it's made out of metal and it's pretty good quality. Like it's not plastic or anything like that. The focus and aperture rings, they're very smooth, like they're not clicky or anything like that. So you can definitely use this in changing of focus and aperture during filmmaking. It's a CCTV camera lens, so that means that you're gonna need an adapter to use this lens on other cameras. The adapter is made out of metal. It's pretty good build quality too. Also, it's not really that important, but it's a nice touch that it comes with a cap for the adapter as well. One thing I've noticed when I put this lens on my camera is the markings are like upside down on the camera lens, so it's kind of annoying to have to see at like what aperture I'm at, you know. If you plan on buying this lens and you get it from the link in the description of this video, the one I bought has a 37mm thread size. There was an answer to a question on the Amazon page and it said that this lens had a 35mm thread size. It's a 37 thread size, don't be fooled. It did not come with a lens hood, not kind of to be expected. I have noticed lens flares with it sometimes. If you want to be careful of that, then you can probably make like a DIY lens hood, get some paper or whatever and like make a lens hood out of paper. I don't know. Alright, moving on to the actual footage and filming with this camera. So this lens is completely manual, obviously. There's no way to get this lens to communicate with your camera, so you have to turn on shoot without lens in your camera setting. You know, I'm okay with a manual lens because pretty much everything in filmmaking is manual anyway, so you know, lots of practice. So this lens is a 35mm lens, which on my camera, which is a micro four thirds camera, this would be a 70mm equivalent, which means that this is good for like portraits and close-ups and stuff like that. It's not quite so good at wide angles though. You have to make sure you turn down your aperture on wide angles. It has a maximum aperture of f/16, which, you know, is not exactly the tiniest. On the other hand, at f1.6, which is the minimum aperture this lens can go to, it's a little harder to get larger objects in focus. But that's just how wide aperture works, because like if something is at a wide aperture, it has a very narrow depth of field. So only one part of the frame is going to be in focus and everything behind that or in front of that is going to be out of focus. So obviously this lens doesn't have any stabilization, so it's pretty shaky. I would recommend using this on a tripod or filming in slow motion. This lens does have some focus breathing, by the way, but it's really not super noticeable, so I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker. Now, let's talk about bokeh. I love it. It's really pretty, beautiful. You can just look at all these test shots here that it's just really pretty. Now there is one specialty of this lens, and that is it has some swirly bokeh. You can get swirly bokeh with like a lot of vintage lenses, and a lot of people love the Helios 44 series, and this is not a vintage lens, so it's really surprising to see this in this lens. It only has swirly bokeh at like the lowest aperture, f1.6. At all the other apertures, it's not really that noticeable. You don't really get swirly bokeh at like f2 or something like that. Now obviously because of the wide aperture, we can have really nice low light performance with this lens. So if you're looking for low light lenses, this one's definitely great for that. This lens is like surprisingly sharp. I have noticed at like wider angles with the lowest aperture it does get like a little bit soft, but that's to be expected. And everything else though, it's really sharp. So this video, I am going to beat up this video. It's getting on my nerves so much. I've had to refilm this video 3 times because every single time something goes wrong with it. And I'm losing footage all over the place. It's just crazy. So here's a little snippet from the second time I filmed this video talking about the first time I filmed this video. Funny story. I literally had to film this video twice because the first time I used autofocus on my new Lumix G7. Not good. I was literally talking to myself in that video like, wow, the autofocus for this is great, and then I looked at my footage and I'm not even in focus at all. People complain about the Lumix G7's autofocus, but I don't really think it's that bad. I don't know what it is that I don't know if I'm just doing something right. My outro video got deleted, so I'm just gonna do a voiceover here. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, let me know in the comments, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!